In 1930, Thailand was covered in 70% forest. Today, almost 90 years later, there is only 25% left. Deforestation is the main cause of higher concentrations of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere and destroys the habitat of millions of species who are depending on the forests to survive. Deforestation in Thailand has been driven mostly by agricultural expansion, and the practices today are not as efficient and sustainable as they could be. PUR Projet is an organization that is trying to solve this problem in a preventative manner through agroforestry projects, creating values to its stakeholders by improving their productivity and social and environmental sustainability within the company's own supply chain. They visit and educate the local farmers who produce the resources used by the multinational companies with a method called insetting, a method we consider both leading and inspiring. Insetting is the definition of balancing the economic activities of a company with the capacity of what the ecosystem can handle. In comparison to offsetting, where you can buy your way out of your carbon emissions by investing in offsetting activities elsewhere while still emitting pollutants internally. PUR Projet has projects in over 40 different countries and so far planted over 10 million trees worldwide, of which 700,000 has been planted in Thailand since they started here in 2011. We visited one of their locations, an experimental farm in the northern parts of Thailand, close to Chiang Mai, where we met and interviewed the country project coordinator, the farm manager, and the founder of the organization. The farm was developed to support livelihoods amongst the less fortunate and promote the conservation and regeneration of the most endangered species and ecosystems. This need developed because farmers were disadvantaged by multinational companies and their implementation of unsustainable short-term models in the production of rice and coffee, which depleted the soil and degraded the forest. This revenue model appeared, however, to benefit the farmers and generate a healthy profit, but was in fact a loss in a long-term perspective. PUR Projet tested a sustainable method for rice production called SRI at the experimental farm, and are now working with implementing the method to farmers interested in participating in the program. SRI can increase yields by 20 to 100%, give up to a 90% reduction in required seed, and save up to 50% water.
So the methodology is one, instead of spreading the seedlings of the rice, you grow the seedlings of the rice first, and then you pick it one by one and then pluck it. And then you keep the space between the seedlings about 25 to 30 centimeters. And you also manage the water level to be lower than usual.
Tristan Leconte founded the organization together with Pierre Jean. We met Tristan for an interview where he explained the work of PUR Projet.
To me, the biggest achievement of PUR Projet is to participate, to raise consciousness, awareness, and to engage multinationals, especially in the luxury sector. We are French, so we work a lot for French luxury brands like Chanel, Louis Vuitton, Clarins, but as well others like Ben & Jerry's, Nespresso. We want to create a movement where more and more companies engage for climate by developing the project within their own supply chain, because they see they directly benefit from it. Today, the issue we have with climate is that it looks like a long-term issue, and I don't feel related to that as a consumer. So we have to show that, yes, it's directly linked with you and with your life today. It's exactly the same issue as with the frog. You know, if you progressively heat up the water, the frog will die, but if you plunge it into a boiling water, then it will jump. We have to show to humans that the water is already boiling, that climate change is already happening now, and we have to act. It's urgent, and we have to show that it's in their own interest. If we don't have an interest to do things, we won't do it. Like, will I become vegetarian to reduce my footprint on the forest? If I have a pleasure to learn how to cook vegetarian dish, etc., maybe yes. If I really love meat, no, it will not be sustainable. We are very specialized in developing, in setting agroforestry project at the landscape level. So companies send us where they buy products from, and we make a diagnostic with the farmers and the stakeholders of the whole landscape, of the whole watershed where they buy products from. And then we will put trees wherever we can, wherever it makes sense, for the farmer and for the ecosystem, along the river stream, on the slopes, around the farm, within the farm if it can be adapted. So the main specialty of PUR Projet is to be very specialized, very expert in this field, and to do custom projects for companies. It's interesting to see that if you're a company in France today, you can choose to make a donation to an NGO for planting trees, same as us. It will cost you 60% less because you'll get a 60% tax rebate, tax deduction. Still, many companies choose us, whereas it costs 60% more, and even more because we don't have any subsidy, etc. So I think it shows that even if we're in a field that usually was devoted to non-profit, you can still create your own profit, and if you're really specialized and give a really good service, you can have a competitive edge even though you're 60% more expensive. So it's a good sign, I think, and it's encouraging for any kind of, for any person who wants to develop his social enterprise, whether in climate, oceans, forest, energy. There is a lot to do, and so this crisis that we're living today is as well a great opportunity to create your own job and to create growth for Europe.
By identifying a problem or something missing in the society, we can create environmental, social, and economic benefits through innovative initiatives. These can be practiced in many different forms in the public, private, and non-profit sector. PUR Projet is a private organization with a flat structure.
We have two sides. One is program side. They work in Paris and they work on the funding. And on the other side is the project side. We have the project coordinators in every country. So on my side, we work mainly with the farmers. We do what we call socialization. We talk to 30, 40 farmers each time to transfer the knowledge of agroforestry. Learn from them as well, like what is their problem in cropping, and co-design the project if possible. So it's two sides. So if they're okay and the program side, the sponsor is okay, so we match the project and make it happen.
งานของที่เพื่อนเอามาลงในฟาร์มเนาะคือเป็นตัวอย่างที่ดีเนาะเพราะว่าทำให้ชาวบ้านมองเห็นว่าการปลูกต้นไม้ทำให้มีน้ำมีธรรมชาติเกิดขึ้นเป็นเพื่อคนในชุมชนนี่ตระหนักถึงการดูแลป่าดูแลรักษาสิ่งแวดล้อมเนาะมาทำลายสิ่งแวดล้อมทำให้มีความชุ่มชื้นมีอากาศที่ดีเนาะเพราะว่าปลูกต้นไม้ชาวบ้านก็มองเห็นว่านายมาทำงานในฟาร์มนี่เป็นตัวอย่างที่ดีเป็นตัวอย่างของชุมชนในดีชุมชนก็เอาไปปรับใจในแถบป่าเนาะไปพัฒนาปลูกป่า
The organization is transforming risks into opportunities and creating shared values for their stakeholders. The wide transfer of knowledge, the bottom-to-top leadership, and the increase in standard of living creates values to the farmers, while the employees get to work on meaningful projects to be proud of. The producers can be satisfied knowing they're contributing to planet preservation, supporting diversification, raising the local income, as well as securing resources. The end users receive value from knowing their product is made in a sustainable fashion. The reinforcement of brand equity and legitimacy on financial markets are two values for investors as stakeholders. PUR Projet is also creating values to our planet with the carbon sequestration in the tree state plant. When farmers plant trees, biodiversification and soil and water quality is brought back to the cultivated land. PUR Projet has taken something unsustainable and short-term profit-making and turned it back into the natural way of doing things, applied nature's well-designed methods, and listened to the farmers and their knowledge to create an environmentally and economically sustainably viable business plan. They are spreading their ideas organically, letting the results speak for themselves and having the farmers do mouth-to-mouth marketing. We find it interesting to see that the method is simple yet thought through, meaning anyone could apply it with some modifications. It is also interesting to see how they skipped the consumer step and went straight for the production level and the supply chain. The idea that a company becomes sustainable through the method of insetting rather than using offsetting activities is something for organizations truly interested in taking their responsibility for the future.